to another edition of It's Still Real to Me. Everything on Zaslow Show 2.0, including It's Still Real to Me, of course, is always brought to us by our title sponsor, Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. If you're in any kind of an accident, car accident, motorcycle, boating, slip and fall, there's a million types of accidents. I can't name all. We'll be here forever. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Let them take care of you and get you the money that you deserve. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. My pal Joey Levine here with us as we recap all the big stories in the world of pro wrestling this week. Our timing, our schedule was a little off this week, Joey, because I was in New York for a couple of days, had a lot of stuff I had to catch up on yesterday, Saturday, which is when we normally record the show. But nonetheless, we got a lot to get to, and we got a big week ahead for us.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It sort of snuck up on us that we got this.
Yeah.
We get AEW, get Dynamite down here at the, what's it called? FLA
Live Arena. So like, it was like a little more than a week ago where I was like, and we're going to start out with AEW here because I think AEW was fantastic this week. And I really just want to talk about what's going to be coming up at Dynamite with us there on Wednesday night. But I looked like a week and a half ago. I was like, oh, shit. All right, I got to look at the sports schedule here because do we have games going on at the same time as Dynamite, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's literally the worst case scenario for me. Now, the cool part about, that I'm on my own now doing Zaslow Show 2.0 is, all right, I can do what I want in the evenings now. Like, I'm not working. I don't have to work the Heat games anymore. So that's cool. But still, I don't want to have conflicts like this where, all right, so we're going to be at Dynamite on Wednesday night. I'm taking my younger son with us. And we have Heat Bucks Game 5 that night as well. Panthers Bruins Game 5 that night as well. That's a disaster. That's the worst case scenario, Joey.
You gotta see if one of these big money sponsors can get us a suite so you can have everything up, get everything on all the TVs.
Well, so yeah, shout out to Sheets and Giggles, of course, who sent me and my son yesterday to Heat Game 3. Really a lot of fun. He took that ass, and that's a great idea. Hey, great idea.
Hey, but anyone listening, who
wants to get us a suite?
We got 3 days.
No, but you know what? The fact of the matter is, I wouldn't even want to switch. I like sitting ringside. I want to sit ringside, for pro wrestling. So here's ultimate. Like, I thought about it for a moment. I did. I was like, do I bow out of going? It's just Dynamite. It's not a pay-per-view. Like, I thought about it, but then it ultimately came down to this is something I do with my younger son Jordan. I'm not bowing out. We're going. Okay.
Yeah,
we're going. But so here's the timing of it. Like, Dynamite probably, well, not Dynamite. Dynamite starts on live TV at 8, but matches probably start like around 7. I think they probably start rolling. I think they probably tape some stuff, right? Don't they normally do that?
I'm guessing it's like dark elevation.
I think so. That. Yeah. So Dynamite's live until 10, and then they're going to tape Rampage. I'm not going to be sticking around for Rampage. I never do. Like, it's the middle of the week. It's late at night. And Rampage is fine, but we all know the money show is Dynamite. Like, nothing significant is ever happening on Rampage. And in this scenario, there's no way I'm staying for Rampage because here's the timing of everything. You have the Panthers Bruins at 7:30 when Dynamite goes on live at 8, and Heat Bucks 9:30. Now that's huge because it's in Milwaukee.
That's great.
That's huge. That's huge. That works out well. So I'll get home easily by 10:30. I'll get home to catch mid-second quarter. I'll probably get home, So that works out well. The Panther game starts at 7:30. It'll be over by 10:15-ish. I think I'm just going to have the Panther game on my phone while we're watching Dynamite right in front of us. I think that's got to be the move.
Yeah, the Rampage thing actually works out even better for you because you get to, you're going to beat the crowd too.
Yeah,
it's not like you're going to have a bunch of people leaving at the same time. Most of those AEW fans are hardcore. They're going to stay.
Yeah,
you're going to be in the minority of people leaving early, so it works even better for you.
So that's my setup for this Wednesday. It could have been worse. All right, so the timing works out okay. It could have been a lot worse. And so we'll get to it on the back end here, but I think we're gonna have a pretty good Dynamite because I'll tell you, man. I watched Dynamite this past Thursday. I was on a plane to New York, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna watch Dynamite on the plane. It's a good way. I'll bang out the plane ride real easy. And I even sent you a message in the middle of the show, and I'm like, look, I'm watching Dynamite right now on the plane, and this is a very strong show. Now I understand the opening segment. I mean, look, and AEW right now, I think, has at least 3 really good storylines going on right now. I think they're getting hot again. I think they're getting hot. They got, the Elite Blackpool Combat Club. That's one really
that might
story.
be that actually. I'm going to say that might be the best thing in wrestling right now.
It's really good,
which is shocking because I can't like 2 weeks ago even I wouldn't have said anything involving Blackpool Combat Club was the best thing in wrestling.
Well, because they've just turned them so dark. It's like
and the elite. I love the Elite, and when they're in a prominent spot, it's good for the business.
Well, and you know what's also part of it? What has helped Blackpool Combat Club so much is finally Daniel Bryan is back with Blackpool. Like whatever he was doing before,
him being the leader and Moxley just being like an enforcer type. That's the sweet spot for them right now.
Yeah, like that's not a coincidence that the story is hot. Blackpool Combat Club is hot now because Bryan Danielson is finally like back there and doing his thing. Not a coincidence. So you got that story going on right now. You got the Cold Jericho stuff going on right now, which I think got really interesting this past week again. That's hot as hell. And the 4 pillars. Like you got 3 really hot stories going on in AEW right now.
Yeah. And then I would still, even though I'm already seeing people being like, what are we doing with Jay White? What do we do? He's been with the company for 2 weeks.
Yeah, take it easy.
And he's doing a thing with Ricky Starks, who was one of the hottest guys in the company. Like, that's going to be fun. That's going to be really fun. I mean, Wardlow.
Like, why does every new big name need to be shot putted to the very top of the ring? It's not necessary.
Look, I think it's a positive that he's not losing matches, because generally what has happened with Tony Khan is when he brings in these big names, they just lose matches early on, and then they have to and then it's like, where are they? Where'd they go? I think there's clearly a big plan for Jay White, and it's going to be, and I love what they're doing with that. I love that he's with Ricky Starks. I think the Sean Spears thing is interesting.
That was interesting.
I think he's going to join the Bullet Club, but we'll see.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean,
but did they beat the shit out of him?
Yeah, but Bullet Club is not
was that initiation? They jumped him in?
Well, they beat him up, and then Ricky Starks made the save. But like, Bullet Club's not a 2-member thing, so people have to join Bullet Club. And let's be real. Sean Spears is great, but he's not a solo act, especially at this point in his career. He's got to be connected to something.
And he's never been a solo act in AEW.
No, not really. I mean, even in the very beginning. Well, kind of, when he was the chairman. Remember when he very early on
he was with Tully Blanchard's crew,
right? Yeah, but early on when he hit Cody and he made him bleed, and then he became the chairman. They did their little, but yes, for the most part, he's good as like I could see that. That seemed to me what was going on, but I don't know. We'll see.
The only thing that I thought was weird about that moment was I wonder if the crowd in attendance knew what was happening there. Because he's just sitting there ringside holding up a 10, holding up a 5. Like, it was a cool spot for us watching on television because they're showing it. Like, I wonder if you were in attendance and all of a sudden Jay White and Juice Robinson pulled homeboy out of the crowd, started beating him up. Like, what? Why are they beating up Sean Spears?
I will say, I think my favorite part of Jay White being around is that Juice Robinson's going to get some recognition. He is so fun. Like, he's such a weirdo. There's everything about his name is Rock Hard Juice Robinson. Like, everything about him. I don't know if you even noticed, like, when Ricky Starks made the save and they're on the floor, he's just screaming, Ricky!
I didn't notice that.
What is he? What are you doing? Why are you screaming? It's just, he's awesome. So that's another storyline that's not nearly where the other ones are right now. But I was gonna say when you brought up Dynamite being this week, when we bought the tickets, I was not looking forward to this. I really wasn't.
Just like, all right, I gotta get it. Like, it's here. I gotta go.
No, you told me about it. I'm like, all right, well,
I was into it.
The floor seats are very affordable.
Very.
And it's AEW. It's gonna be fun. But at the time, I was very down on the product.
It's not selling well, by the way.
That's not shocking.
We're an awful pro wrestling town. Awful.
Yeah,
we're terrible.
And like you mentioned, Panthers, Heat. I mean, there's so much stuff going on.
I don't think that matters. We're a terrible pro wrestling crowd. I mean, just just look at like when WWE is here, we get terrible crowds for WWE. And you look at what WWE does. Like, for instance, WWE, I just saw, excuse me, in July, they're doing Raw and SmackDown Friday and Monday in Orlando and Tampa. Orlando and Tampa, what a massive difference Central Florida is compared to South Florida when it comes to supporting pro wrestling. Because those shows in July, they open up the entire building and they're almost sold out. Here, when pro wrestling is here, and take AEW, for instance, it's not selling well, this show. Like, I hope they could fill the lower level. I do. It is not selling well.
Yeah, but I was going to say, like, this is as much as we talk about, like, who's doing what, and WWE is doing this and AEW is doing that, this is the positive of having two major brands, is that, WWE is not, let's be honest, it's not great right at the moment.
Yeah, they're in a weird holding pattern right now.
They're in a weird spot.
They're biding their time.
But just in time, AEW starts to turn the product around.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really, really good. Like you said, other than you can nitpick here and there, obviously, with any show. But the show as a whole is great, and the top level storylines are great. So it's good timing for them to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got three really great storylines going on right now. So I want to go over a few things that happened on Dynamite. You had the 4 pillars kick off Dynamite. And look, this was probably the weakest part of the show because you're kind of throwing, like, you're taking a gamble if you're going to have Jungle Boy and Darby Allin on a microphone, just the two of them in the ring. You're playing with fire a little bit there. And neither one is great on the microphone. But I would tell you, Darby Allin, and I don't think this is the direction that they're going in, but Darby Allin was cutting heel promos there in the ring, right?
He has been. He has sort of been.
But I don't think that's the direction they're going in. I don't think that's what's going to happen.
No, I think it's just his personality. He's kind of like a weird, he seems like a dick, to be honest. And I think, isn't that what
Jungle Boy said? He said he's a dick.
Jungle Boy was like, that's what Jungle Boy was sort of implying, was like in the back, he's sort of an asshole.
Yeah, that's what he said.
He has this like loner thing that people like. You're right. It's a tough spot to put the 3 of them in because Sammy stinks on the mic too. I mean, the Sammy's was particularly bad because he just kept contradicting. He was like, I respect you, but I will slap you. It's like, what? I just don't know what he's talking about. And the crowd was very, very just like not into it.
So MJF comes and saves it.
But of course you get MJF. All he has to do is, it speaks to the pop that he got too, because I think part of that was that people like MJF, but part of it were like,
get me out of this.
Thank God he showed up here because this was starting to get rough.
Now, are you telling me it's a weird thing where he pulled the name out of the hat, who gets a bye, And that was also another thing where I thought it was a weird reaction from Darby Allin because normally the babyface is not going to like getting to skip the line. Yep. The babyface wants to fight, So it was a very heel reaction out of Darby Allin. I was like, hell yeah, I don't have to fight. That was weird, I thought, But I was thinking about, was there no other scenario they could have made up so that somebody doesn't get a bye, to make it more even?
Yeah, my question was
way out.
My question was this whole thing just a setup to get a bunch of singles matches to ultimately have the 4-way anyways? Do you think they're actually going to have a one-on-one? You think right now, as these guys' characters are, do you think any one of them can be the main event of a pay-per-view one-on-one with MJF? I think the fatal 4-way 4 pillars match is like the hook there. It's like you could sell that because it's been a thing from the beginning. Right now, if it's like MJF versus Jungle Boy is main eventing your pay-per-view, I don't know.
Well, we know that that's not going to be the case. It's either going to be MJF and Sammy or MJF and Darby, which, by the way, we're getting this week at Dynamite. It's going to be Sammy versus Darby, which is going to be really great. I think the question, though, what is the alliance between MJF and Sammy? What is going on there? What is he asking him to do there? Is he asking him to beat Darby next week and then throw the fight against him? What is happening there?
I don't know. And the blank check and the money, and I'm not really entirely sure what is the ultimate plan here for MJF. But again, it also leads me to think that something's going to happen where Tony Khan is going to get involved. Somebody's going to, whoever the authority is, Tony Schiavone is going to come down from ringside and make an announcement.
But how do we get Jungle Boy back in the mix then when he just lost this, qualifying match?
Maybe he interferes and helps Darby, and I don't know. I mean, it's
because you're right. What you're saying seems to be a lot more interesting.
Well, also, like, let's say there is this deal, right? He made this deal with MJF, and we still don't really know what it is because it's seemingly he's just fighting matches and winning, whatever. Let's say he wins. Sammy Guevara versus MJF is going to main event a pay-per-view? I don't think so. I just don't think so.
Well, I mean it wouldn't. You're calling it the main event because he's the world champion. We all know it's not the main event. Like, it's going to be something along the lines of the Elite and Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, but AEW, at least from what I remember, they've been very intentional since they started that the world title fight is the last fight on pay-per-views. Yeah. So I don't know. But again, it's like MJF's a huge name and he's very popular, but is his name alone enough to promote a pay-per-view, him versus Sam? I just don't think so. But I think the Fatal 4-Way is. So I guess we just have to figure out what is the deal between the two of them, and how does it lead us to something more interesting than the two of them main eventing a pay-per-view? I don't know. I guess we'll get some more answers on Wednesday.
So Blackpool Combat Club, they come out and beat the shit out of the Elite. And you get the back and forth. Like, Kenny Omega, his only regret from the week before was that he didn't get to actually murder Bryan Danielson, that the screwdriver was not stuck in the turnbuckle, that he wanted to be stuck in his face. So again, we're going to attempted murder is what we're after here. And same thing for Bryan Danielson, because he brought the screwdriver out again. They're trying to murder each other, and that's going to end with one of them, or maybe several of them, going to life in prison. It's unfortunate, but sometimes that's where a feud takes you.
Yeah, but we've never had a life in prison match, so I guess we'll I guess that'll be something interesting.
Or how about it's the winner? What if it's a pardon on a pole? The winner gets pardoned.
Right.
From the attempted murder. So a pardon on a pole match.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a pardon on a pole, and the winner or the loser goes to death row.
Can I be honest with you? So Don Callis comes out and he's like, whoa. And he goes to the back. I was disappointed that he came out with Takeshita.
I'm not.
You liked it? I was hoping he was coming out with Hangman.
Well, Hangman will be back, first of all. It's not just, so first of all.
But at the same time, why would Callis bring out Hangman? Because Callis pulled the shenanigans with Hangman a few weeks ago. But I guess overall, I was just disappointed that it was Takeshita that came out.
I wasn't, though, and because AEW tries to do a lot of long-term storytelling, and they have things going on all these other shows that are supposed to tie into the main show. This was one that is seemingly has been and will be executed very well. Don Callis has been recruiting Takeshita for a long time to be part of their whatever. And then when he came out, A, the crowd loves him. Mm-hmm. B, he is a big dude, and he does look like a badass. Like he was beating those guys up. But then you could also see Henny was a little like, all right, like what is this? But then even more so, the Bucks were like, is this guy, this guy's with us now?
So you think we're setting up Don Callis turning on Kenny and this is his new guy?
Something like that. Or Takeshita turning on them, and maybe Don Callis going with the Blackpool Combat Club with Takeshita, something like that. But I don't think it's just Takeshita as part of the Elite now. I think there's way more to it. Hangman will be back. And also, if Takeshita turns and goes to the Blackpool Combat Club, that gives the Blackpool Combat Club 5 guys, and Hangman would be the 4th in the Elite, so that would leave space for still another person to help the Elite. Kota Ibushi's been out there for a while. Everyone's been trying to figure out where Kota Ibushi stands. Okay. When does he come back? That could be really interesting. I just think there's so many different ways that this can go now, because the Takeshita thing was so kind of random. Yeah. And Hangman still has to be involved, that I just love it. And I think Kenny and Don Callis are like AEW's version of Roman and Heyman.
Paul,
like,
yeah.
I mean, Callis is very good in that role. And he's been sort of teasing this for a while, right? Like trying to get Kenny to not like Hangman.
Yeah.
But the Bucks do like Hangman. What's the relationship there? I think all of it's very
So eventually it's going to be like, you didn't listen to me. I was telling you, you know, and all right. We might be heading down that road. The TNT TV title switched hands. I'm cool with that title switching hands. That's what it's for. I mean, it should be defended on television every week. Like that's going to happen. I will tell you though, the weird thing that the part about this match I thought was weird. So Wardlow wins, which is cool, especially it's in Pittsburgh. He's from there. All right. But I thought they bailed on Hobbs so quick, meaning right after the match ended, Luchasaurus and Christian Cage came out, as opposed to giving Hobbs a little bit of due there, where like I thought they glossed over Wardlow beating Hobbs way too quick, and we just moved on to the next thing. It's like we dumped Hobbs aside like he was nothing.
But that's kind of how the TNT's title's been going since they took it off Wardlow, right? Like, didn't they just kind of move on from Samoa Joe pretty quickly too?
Yeah, they moved off of Hobbs, and I'm not talking about in general his title reign being over. I'm just talking about we didn't even give it any run where like Wardlow just beat Hobbs. Like it wasn't a big deal that he beat Hobbs. It was like, all right, here's what's next.
Yeah, they do kind of do that regularly, but I guess hopefully because Hobbs is great. I think Hobbs is really good. Hopefully it leads to him doing something bigger, like another title, maybe something with Orange Cassidy, maybe even bigger. I don't know, but I hope it doesn't. I hope it's not another one of these AEW things where like, all right, now Hobbs is off TV for a month, and it's like we're looking around in 3 weeks. We're like, wait, where's Hobbs? Because like we've been talking about all this good stuff with AEW, and I'm thinking to myself, where's the House of Black? Like they're awesome. Like where is the House of Black right now? Like what are they doing?
They got so many good guys on the roster, man. They got a lot of guys.
But they're about to have a third show.
Yeah, they're champions.
And they can't figure. They're about to have a third weekly live show or pre-taped, whatever it is. And these guys aren't on TV every week. Like they weren't on Rampage. Right. So it's like that's what I'm saying. So I'm hoping it's not one of those things with Hobbs where it's like we're looking back 3 weeks and we're like he had so much momentum, and now what's he doing again? I don't know.
Right.
Hopefully. But yeah, I agree. But I do like Arn Anderson's a weird cat, man. That guy.
I mean, how about just out of nowhere? I'm wondering, he's standing there. What's he reaching into his pocket for? What's he doing? Just breaks out Armed Anderson again.
Yeah, it's so. I'm just like backstage. He's like, Tully Blanchard was a great checkers player, but I'm going to teach you how to play chess. It's like, okay.
A solid DDT landed though.
I thought he usually does he must be not in ring shape because he usually does
he's going to go spine buster, but that was a solid DDT.
Yeah, it was solid DDT. But QT Marshall is awesome. I mean, his reaction to the fake gun was just classic. I mean, the way he like fell out of the ring. Is very good.
I mean, if this is Armed Anderson,
yeah,
problem.
That's one of the great absurd promos in the history of wrestling that he did with Cody.
Oh yeah.
Where my God, I got to go back and watch it because I don't remember. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do harm by not getting it right. But I just remember watching that live and being like, "The hell is happening?"
That is
right now?
Great. He's talking about guns and killing people.
Yeah, like blowing someone's head off. He's like, "You pull out your Glock."
Yep.
Like, huh? What?
Yep. And Armed Anderson was born. I know you got a few things to say about Jay White versus Commander.
It's a very okay. The Jay White's great. Bullet Club's great. The spot. I mean, this was like the number one thing on Twitter, wrestling Twitter this week. This was it.
How do we even describe it? I mean, he was
Commander did gymnastics on the ropes. Yeah. I mean, okay, so here's my thing. I think we talk about this all the time where like the high flying stuff, sometimes it's absurd. We talked about what Bret Hart said the other day where it's like you're diving onto people who are just standing there waiting to catch you.
It's never been my thing. I mean, I understand, look, wrestling it can be for everybody and you like some things and you don't like some things, but I'm more along the lines of on Bret Hart's side with this.
Look, Commander is awesome. He does some stuff. Like he has that spot where he runs the ropes and dives
that's really
outside.
cool. That's really cool.
That spot, and also that spot is like you're diving onto someone on the outside.
Yeah.
Now, here's where I was like, people need to like chill out a little bit on like defending Commander, because people get so dug in on these guys.
Yeah.
I see all these people saying, why was it okay when Undertaker did it? And my response,
I'll tell you exactly.
Would be a couple things. Number one, he's 6'10", and he's the Undertaker. Number two, usually he did something to set it up and the guy is like selling that Undertaker has like a hold on him. He's a supernatural like being. He's the Undertaker. Like and the fact, again, he's 6'10", he's walking the ropes, and then he just jumps off and he hits you. What Commander did was gymnastics. It was not wrestling. And Jay White's not selling it. Jay White's helping him keep his balance. Like, there's nothing about it where I'm like, there was like 30 seconds of Jay White, one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
One of the best wrestlers in the world. One of the biggest free agent on the market right now. The biggest get AEW, the guy who's going to be the game changer for AEW. He's just standing there watching Commander, who is great at what he does, but will never be really relevant in AEW. Just watching him bounce up and down on the ropes.
Yeah.
It made no sense. It's not even that entertaining. Like, do one thing and then do a move.
Well, and the one spot that we're talking about here, like I'm still not even sure. Like, did he botch the move? Did he accomplish it the way he wanted to?
Well, so the first part looked like he botched it because he like dove and then
why would he want to land with the ropes between between his legs? That's
but the part I'm talking about is when he did it correctly, and he's like bouncing from the second rope to the first rope to the second rope to the first rope, and Jay White's just standing there, just like looking at him, holding his hand, just looking, waiting for him to do a Hurricane Rana, like. Just do the springboard Hurricane Rana and move on. I thought that match was too long in general.
I did too. I thought it was weird that in Jay White's first match on Dynamite, he's like, it's okay to have a good match, but it was a struggle for him.
This guy,
that was weird.
First, you have this, your AEW have this relationship with New Japan. You pump up your relationship with New Japan, and then you bring in the first ever New Japan Grand Slam, IWGP Grand Slam champion. Last thing he did was he was the IWGP champion, the leader of Bullet Club, and he's struggling to beat Commander in his debut.
It should have been a quicker match.
But
he shouldn't have struggled.
No, there shouldn't have been really a struggle. Like, let Commander get off his spots here and there, like one or two, that's fine.
But beat him convincingly.
But for the most part, it should be like a squash in his first match. We should be building towards like you watch that match, you're like, why does he even get to fight Ricky Starks? Like, Ricky Starks has been here. Like, but ultimately what everyone was talking about was the Commander spot, because it's just like a lot of people are just like, why?
Yeah, it's a little much.
What does this do? What does this accomplish?
Yep, it's a little much. No, I'm with you. The Jericho Cole stuff's gotten good, man. I did not expect that story to go in the direction that it's in. I did not necessarily expect that story to be as good as it is, because already we're only like 2 weeks into these guys kind of giving each other the side eye, and so much bad blood. Just 2 weeks and now it's super bad blood. It's a blood feud. And so Jericho enlists the help of the Outcasts, to beat the shit out of Britt Baker, who has a legit black eye. You saw she posted her eyes, busted up. Actually,
she gets hurt a lot.
Saraya's avatar on her Twitter now is Britt Baker's black eye, which is funny. And just the whole thing, like Adam Cole handcuffed to the ropes, screaming for Britt. He can't help her. They're beating the shit out of her, which by the way, that's a lot of, was it chair shots? Did they have a kendo that they were hitting with? They were hitting with a kendo, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lot of kendo stick shots. Like, I'm sure that was not pretty. I love that segment. I thought it was great. And now all of a sudden you got like a big time blood feud between those guys. Good shit. Yeah.
And I was like watching it. And I'm like, if you have a group that you are so committed to, like Tony Khan seemingly is with the Outcasts, that seemingly no one likes, and not even I think
it's going in a good direction now.
But what I'm saying is, it seemingly no one likes, and not even like they're heels, so we don't like them. Like, no one just like no one likes them. Like they're just like, why do we have to watch this every week? There's not much better you can do than to align them with Chris Jericho. Because now it's like, okay, all right, something cool, something good's going to happen if Jericho's involved. Mm-hmm. I know that might be a controversial opinion to some people because I think there are some people out there who are sick of Jericho. I'll never get sick of Jericho. Right. And if they're going to be aligned with the JAS, I'm good with it.
But just getting a ton of heat on them. I mean, you're beating the shit out of Britt Baker in Pittsburgh.
Well, and now, yeah, and also just that segment, like if they weren't already the top baby faces in the company, I think they are. Like the two of them, genuinely, I think they're the two. I mean, I know like everyone loves the Elite, and you know, I guess some of the pillars are, I mean, Jungle Boy, but no, I think right now Adam Cole, that segment put the stamp on it that those are your two top baby faces in the company.
Yeah, and I thought clearly, and I guess I was wrong because I thought we were going to head in a direction where, and look, we may still get to this place, but I thought we were headed in a direction where Adam Cole was going to show Keith Lee that, yes, he is a piece of shit, and he was going to turn on Keith Lee. That may happen, but it ain't going to happen until we're way down the road now.
Yeah, but I'm sure, I got to think Keith Lee is going to help Adam Cole at some point because if he just keeps getting beat up by Jericho, somebody's got to help Adam Cole.
Yeah, definitely.
So that'll be good. I'll be interested. I mean, I'm excited about that now. Like I was not excited about anything involving the Outcasts, but now that they're with Jericho and there's like a bigger story here, I'm okay with it.
When is the show? When is it Double or Nothing we're leading up to, right? Vegas?
Yes. I don't know.
When is the show? How far away are we from
relatively? It's got to be pretty soon, right? Hold on, give me 2 seconds. Double or Nothing 2023 is May 20th.
End of May. All right, so we're a month away. Not that far.
That's the day after the Saudi show, I think.
Great weekend.
That's a big weekend.
Great weekend.
That's a big weekend. Wow.
Okay. Very cool. Yep. And finally, the main event, you had Sammy Guevara. He beats Jungle Boy. Cool match. But for me, it was like, I'm happy Sammy won because now next week at Dynamite in Sunrise, we get Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin. Yep. What's going on with the alliance between Sammy and MJF? They're hugging and kissing in the ring after the match to close out Dynamite. I thought it was a very, very strong show. Very strong show.
It was very good. It was very, very good. I'm happy with where they're at leading into us going to see them live.
That's what it's about. It's about how does it benefit us? How does it help us when we're going to be in attendance? And I think it's pretty hot right now.
Yeah, it's good stuff.